This video was made in collaboration with Narutopedia. If you'd like to learn more, check out the link in the description. The life of Obito Uchiha. Obito Uchiha was a member of Konohagakure's Uchiha clan. He was believed to have died during the Third Shinobi War, his only surviving legacy being the Sharingan he gave to his teammate Kakashi Hatake. In truth, Obito was saved from death and trained by Madara Uchiha, but the events of the war left Obito disillusioned with reality, and he inherited Madara's plan to create an ideal world. Resurfacing under the names of Tobi and Madara Uchiha himself, Obito subtly took control of the Akatsuki, using them as a means to advance his machinations, eventually going public and starting the Fourth Shinobi World War. However, towards the war's conclusion, Obito had a change of heart, and as atonement sacrificed his life to save the same world he sought to replace. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over the life of Obito Uchiha. Before we begin, we publish new content every week, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Early life. Obito grew up not knowing who his parents were. In the anime, he was left in the care of his grandmother. Feeling alone in the world, Obito dreamed of becoming Hokage, so that the people of the village would acknowledge his existence. He enrolled in the academy to help him achieve that goal, where he developed a one-sided rivalry with Kakashi Hatake, whose natural talent and popularity he was jealous of. He also became a close friend of Rin Nohara, whom he eventually fell in love with. After finally graduating some years later, Obito, Rin, and Kakashi were placed on a team under the leadership of Minato Namikaze. In the anime, as a final qualifying test, Minato gave the team a bell test to test their cooperation skills. Obito could not accomplish this on his own, but by joining forces with Rin and Kakashi, they succeeded in taking the bells, teaching Obito the value of teamwork. The team later participated in the Chunin exams, where Obito was defeated in the third round in a one-on-one match with Might Guy. Kakashi would go on to defeat Guy in a subsequent match, promoting him to Chunin and impressing Rin. Eager for Rin's attention, Obito trained relentlessly, eventually rising to the rank of Chunin himself. His excitement was short-lived as Kakashi soon afterwards became a Jonin, once again earning Rin's praise and Obito's resentment. During the Third Shinobi World War, Kakashi was placed in charge of the team for a mission to destroy the Kanabi Bridge, which would hinder Iwakugure from using Kusakugure as a relief point. Before beginning the mission, Minato and Rin gave gifts to Kakashi to celebrate his promotion to Jonin, though Obito had forgotten, straining their already poor relationship. Minato was soon called to the front lines, leaving the team to complete the mission alone under Kakashi's command. The three were discovered by Iwanin along the way and Rin was captured. Kakashi elected to abandon Rin, believing it was more important to finish the mission before concerning themselves with her safety. Obito became enraged at the idea and insisted that they focus on her rescue. When Kakashi refused, Obito left on his own, remarking that Kakashi was worse than trash for abandoning his friends. Obito located the cave the Iwanin were using as a hideout, but was found by a camouflaged Taiseki before he could launch a rescue. Kakashi, moved by Obito's earlier words, arrived in time to save him from the Taiseki's attack, but lost his left eye in the process. From his desire to help Kakashi, Obito awakened his Sharingan, allowing him to see through Taiseki's camouflage and kill him. Obito and Kakashi infiltrated the cave and released Rin from her restraints. Her captor, Kako, caused the cave to collapse around them. As the team ran for the exit, Kakashi was struck in his blind spot and fell. When Obito noticed that Kakashi was about to be hit by a falling boulder, Obito pushed him out of the way and became trapped in his place. With the right side of his body crushed and no way to free himself, Obito accepted his fate and made an offering, to give Kakashi his left Sharingan as an apology for not getting him a present earlier. Rin performed the transplant, and once the procedure was finished, Kakashi used his new Sharingan to kill Kako. Iwa reinforcements quickly began to further compress the rubble, forcing Kakashi and Rin to leave Obito behind. As the rocks tightened around him, Obito reflected that he had finally started to get along with Kakashi and that he couldn't confess to Rin that he loved her. Kakashi and Rin were rescued by Minato, and when they returned to Konoha, Obito's name was engraved on the village's memorial stone. Saved from death. In actuality, Obito was rescued by White Zetsu under orders from an elderly Madara. He brought Obito to Mountain's graveyard and tended to his injuries, removing those body parts too damaged to be healed and replacing them with limbs cultivated from the cells of Hashirama Senju. Despite his injuries, Obito's right Sharingan had survived intact. Although frightened by Madara, Obito felt indebted to him for saving his life and was willing to render any assistance he could, an offer Madara made clear that he would collect upon. Obito began a long rehabilitation process, eager to recover enough for him to return to Konoha and help his friends in the village with the still ongoing war. With the help of White Zetsu and another spiral-faced Zetsu he nicknamed Guru Guru, Obito became accustomed to his replacement limbs and the abilities they granted him. All the while, Madara would tell Obito about the harsh realities of the world and his plan to save it, which the young Uchiha disregarded. During the end of his recuperation process, White Zetsu informed Obito that Kakashi and Rin were elsewhere about to be killed by Kirikaguri ninja. Obito was insistent on helping them, which Guru Guru offered to help with by encasing Obito with its body. Before leaving, Obito thanked Madara for all his help but said he wouldn't be returning. Madara made clear his conviction that Obito would return to him. Guru Guru directed Obito to Rin and Kakashi's location, along the way informing him of Minato's absence. When they arrived, they found Rin and Kakashi surrounded by Kirinin and Kakashi plunging his Chidori through Rin's heart. Rin's death caused each of their Sharingan to mature into Mangekyo Sharingan, a process that also caused Kakashi to pass out. Enraged by what had happened, Obito used a combination of his Mangekyo Sharingan's Kamui and the wood release of Guru Guru's body to slaughter the Kirikaguri ninja. When all of them were dead, Obito cradled Rin's lifeless body, ignoring the unconscious Kakashi. Obito returned to the mountain's graveyard, vowing to do anything for Madara if it could bring him together with Rin and Kakashi again. Madara explained his Eye of the Moon plan, which would replace the contemporary world of violence and death with one where nobody ever needs to die. Obito was intrigued, determined to create a reality where he, Rin, and Kakashi could exist alongside each other. Madara imparted all of his knowledge and plans to Obito, taught him about the abilities he would need moving forward, entrusted him with his possessions, and manifested Black Zetsu to act as a guide. Having left almost all that he had to Obito, Madara disconnected himself from the demonic statue of the Outer Path that was keeping him alive, and told Obito that until his revival he was to act as Madara Uchiha. Moving the plan forward. Using Madara's name and concealing his identity, Obito moved in the shadows of the ninja world to acquire the remaining pieces of the Eye of the Moon plan. Shortly after Madara's death, Obito and Zetsu went to Amagi and approached the fledgling Akatsuki with an offer of support in creating the world of peace they envisioned. In truth, he only needed Nagato, in whom Madara had implanted his Rinnegan several years earlier and who would be needed in the final stages of the Eye of the Moon plan. While Obito was almost able to sway Nagato, the Akatsuki leader Yahiko declined. Obito claims he eventually agreed without informing Akatsuki's other members. In the anime, Obito learned of a conspiracy between Hanzo and Danzo Shimura to eliminate Yahiko. He intercepted and killed the members of Akatsuki that tried to rescue Yahiko, and once Yahiko was dead, encouraged Nagato in a new direction for the organization, one focused on acquiring the tailed beasts. While Nagato became the Akatsuki leader and recruited powerful missing nin for their cause, Obito took on the alias of Tobi and changed his personality around members to conceal his identity. In Kirigakure, Obito at some point took control of the fourth Mizukage, in effect making him the de facto Mizukage. After Kisame Hoshikage became disillusioned by the lies of the world, Obito, as Madara, revealed himself to Kisame and promised to help make a world of truth. Kisame became his loyal servant, one of the few Kirinin to knowingly work for him. During this time, Obito discovered the circumstances of Rin's death, that Kiri had sealed the Three Tails into her to make a time bomb that would destroy Konoha. At Rin's insistence, Kakashi killed her to prevent this from happening. Obito's manipulation of the Mizukage was eventually discovered by Eo, and he was forced to abandon it. 12 years before the start of the series, Obito visited Rin's grave in Konoha. Kakashi was already there when he arrived, and Obito, watching secretly, heard him confide to Rin's grave that Minato's wife, Kushina Uzumaki, would soon be giving birth. Knowing that Kushina was the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, and the seal-keeping Nine-Tails contained within her would weaken during childbirth, Obito tracked her down the night of October 10th. He killed her Anbu bodyguards and midwives, which included the third Hokage's wife, and took her newborn son, Naruto Uzumaki, hostage to prevent Minato from interfering. Minato was able to take Naruto from him, which distracted him long enough for Obito to escape with Kushina. He extracted the Nine-Tails from her body, placed it under his control with his Sharingan, and ordered it to destroy the village. Minato soon afterwards arrived to help in the village's defense. Before Minato could contribute much or even tell anyone what had happened, Obito located him and tried to use Kamui to send him away and prevent further interference. Minato was able to escape with his Flying Thunder God technique, but Obito pursued him. Minato did not recognize Obito as they fought, instead suspecting that he was Madara Uchiha. He initially struggled to successfully strike Obito, but after several failed attacks, Minato finally hit him with a Rasengan and branded him with a Flying Thunder God seal, allowing him to teleport to Obito whenever he wanted. He then used a contract seal on Obito to release the Nine Tails from his control. Wounded and deprived of his best weapon, Obito fled. Minato gave his life to save the village by sealing the Nine Tails into his son, and thus never had the chance to inform anyone of Obito's involvement. Konoha's leadership nevertheless suspected an Uchiha's involvement, and to that end placed all members of the clan under heavy scrutiny. Years later in the anime, Obito attacked the Fire Daimyo's convoy en route to Konoha, placing everyone in a genjutsu and killing Tenma Izumo, but swiftly retreats after sensing Kakashi approaching. Years later, the Uchiha, as a result of their mistreatment, began plotting a coup d'etat. Obito returned to the village with the intention of exacerbating the conflict, but was discovered by Itachi Uchiha. Believing Obito was Madara, Itachi asked for his help in wiping out their clansmen, offering revenge against them for their treatment of Madara decades earlier in exchange for Obito's agreement to spare the village. Obito accepted and offered Itachi a position in Akatsuki. In the anime, during the night of the massacre, he slaughtered the Konoha military police force and killed Izumi Uchiha. Afterwards, he collected several Uchiha corpses in order to extract their Sharingan for his own use. He also met Danzo around this time for unknown reasons. Following the attack, he cut his hair and brought Itachi into his organization. Did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.